sorry.
Oh yeah, as you can, the address does not work. You type in the address. George no longer parked. Oh yeah, no. They're talking about their system. Well, I think he's having some problems.
They will give you a
I don't think the heads are on yeah, they have like 3 good sorts.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So this is the main process facility. We had to make it larger, taller, like 28-foot tall column. So we had to put 35 foot tall. Chemical containment here with our whole chemical recycled ash, recycled water. We have the process facility here where you can see them breaking out control room, lab, utility room, fire riser room, so that there'll be the lab. Interior vents to no contact point here. We'll store the sample, super sacks, 1,000 tons of it. We'll be here, we'll pick it up with a forklift and load it into our it'll be 1 batch a day, 1.5 tons. So 2 batches, 0.75 tons per batch.
Oh, good.
And this whole site was a brownfield site. So,
No, I knew that.
yeah, the great thing about this, as WEA knows in the agreement that the state so generously funded is, it's getting a new life.
Yeah.
And while we clean it up and stuff.
Yeah. Excellent. All that money is going right back to the state of Wyoming.
Yep.
So this is the six.
Yeah, of operations. Yeah, 9 to 15, depending on.
Identified.
Yeah, so this is just a little time lapse of everything you just saw, right? Where it just shows how, it started and there was nothing but a brownfield site here, then it shows the outside and the inside. But a couple of things that I think I already heard Ken echo is that this is very much a Wyoming project, right? The Lowenbro construction crew that's out of Casper comes here. It will be operated, obviously, out of these buildings right here. So the jobs are already coming to Wyoming. And when I was in DC 2 weeks ago, every time I'm there, Barasso, Lummis, Hageman, and even the surrounding states, how's the DOE project going along? Is it on time? It's like, you're going, then obviously, when this was applied for 4 years ago, I mean, you probably see the price of cars and real estate, right? There's about 21% inflationary pressures, not to even talk about materials. But things are moving along, and the DOE funding, the WEA funding, and obviously RER's funding, it's becoming what you see here, and it's on track to get going by the end of summer.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
This summer.
This summer, this year, 2024.
Construction is pretty tricky.
It's true, which is why I say summer and not June 17th.
Okay, well, summer of 2024.
That's right, before the fall equinox. Yeah. Hopefully.
Magnet market there is, but it's those. We have all the other rare earths, but in trace amounts: the yttrium, lanthanum, cerium, all the holomum, gadolinium, all the rare earths are there. But that's what our process does. It effectively, in 4 stages, you go from an ore with everything in it.
Right.
Then you get rid of the thorium and the uranium and some of the heavy rare earths. You go to the next stage. You start separating out the magnet materials from the rest of the light rare earths, and at some point those might be commercially viable.
Right. So
it's not like we're going to throw those away. And then you take the magnet metals, which are very, very, very hard to separate. The chemistry of rare earths, the reason they're so hard to separate, they're almost identical chemically.
Sure.
So it's very hard. The energies within the cells, and I don't want to get into too much detail about that, but it's very hard to separate them. So we've come up with a very sophisticated software program that helps us determine, based on the ratio within the solution, how much of this, that, and the other to add to the next set of solutions, so that at the end we don't just end up with a total rare earth oxide like maybe the guys at Mount Pass were. We have neodymium, praseodymium that we can send now to a metal manufacturer that they can turn into metal that eventually becomes a magnet.
Right.
So we don't, we're not particularly beholden to any industry, but any industry that uses rare, heavy neon iron, neon praseodymium, boron magnets.
And those words are a mouthful. They're always abbreviated NDPR.
Yeah.
NDPR.
But it's a magnet.
Yeah.
So we will make the direct precursor to making the metals that make the magnets.
Right.
And that's what. I'm sorry. Go
Well, I
ahead.
was going to say, you probably tune the process as other minerals become
Absolutely.
more valuable. Right?
Drew and I were just chatting about that. What happens after the 9 to 15 months of operation to prove out this process?
Right.
Well, some people are under the impression that we have to demolish it. Well, we don't have to demolish it. We don't want it to become a cost center. We're here to make a commercial enterprise,
Right.
And bring domestic supply chain to the U.S. and to Wyoming. But you can start working on that process to separate other rare earth metals, other materials, other mines, not just ours. There's other great potential deposits in Wyoming. And there's no reason that, it's gonna take more than one deposit to satisfy the entire United States demand. But the biggest differentiator that we have, not only is the deposit very well understood, hundreds of millions of dollars, decade plus of characterizing the deposit, but it's our technology that Ken was just talking about. Nobody else has this. We're not beating our chest. If somebody else had it, you would have read about it.
Yeah.
And they'd also have DOE grant.
Yeah, well, and I'm excited because my good friend Kevin Stitt, governor of Oklahoma, keeps talking about his rare earth production that they're trying to work on too.
Oh, there's a lot of people working on it.
Yeah. So it's kind of nice. Kevin will have a throw. He wants to do a team roping, and we can do that.
I'm out of that.
So, Dante, if you want to walk them through. Yeah, it's a real short presentation. It's just to show you what all of the, we call them big, fancy process chemistry. Yeah, I can actually do it for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Dante laid out with LMDR doing a leaner at design, the process skids for this facility that will separate, the rare earths and so forth. So this is what we call primary process skid 1, PP1. And this is where you take your sample from that big building in super sacks, you load it onto a bulk bag discharger, and half of that bag will be used for batch 1, the other half will be used for batch 2.
Well, let me ask this. Simply because one of the big things that I've really tried to push has been how do we pivot our education system to meet the needs as industries start to develop?
Yeah.
And we've made some real progress in that respect. Have you been connected with Gillette here, Eastern's also in Newcastle? I'd love to. So if there are specific, kinds of things that we need to teach.
Oh, that's interesting.
Job training, technical expertise.
I know we're pretty involved with the UW folks, and we've done a lot of projects with them. But it would be beneficial to get the more local schools and universities, or even tech, community college, the tech, the tech houses and stuff to get started.
Well, and a particular interest to me. Everybody else talks about welding, but there's all kinds of welding.
This is a chemistry. This is a chemistry plant.
Right.
I mean, lab techs.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff is
Right.
perfect for.
And it's all careers that don't require, nor should you have a 4-year degree to do these.
Right.
You just need the proper training.
Right.
And they're good paying, solid jobs that support a family, and they're right here.
So we'd love.
And that's the interplay the governor's talking about is we've got the capacity between the Department of Workforce Services and the community colleges to set up specific work training programs. They may be certificate, they may not be certificate.
Yeah.
They may require, we have to require even an associate's degree.
That's right.
Just job
Yeah,
training
oh, yeah,
programs.
for
How
sure.
do we develop that expertise? And that's the alignment that the governor's
Yeah.
trying to work, working very, very hard with higher ed to get that, and also with even with high schools.
In the coming weeks, we're gonna have all of the detailed job descriptions, everything that we're gonna be needing to man up this process. And based on that, absolutely, the community colleges, every time we hire, we work very closely with the University of Wyoming, Holly Krutka, Cam Wright, of engineering. The SCR and College of Engineering have been great, but to your point, a lot of these jobs don't need
Health and
4-year
safety,
degrees.
there's electrician, there's
Exactly.
mechanics, there's all that.
Well,
So that's exactly what we try to do.
Trades.
You're at this dividing line now where it's pretty close to go to Gillette, but your headquarters are Eastern for this area. We've sort of said, okay, let's forget those boundaries. Let's figure out how we help industry.
Good.
Right. So, good.
Excellent.
This is fabulous.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks for stopping by.
This
We
is
really
really-
appreciate your time.
I'm excited. When I was first elected to Senate in 2007, so I now work for him, but we were talking about this in 2007, talking about this, been looking at this, what's going on here, and so to actually see this stuff up and out of the ground and getting closer, it's
It would have gone faster had the Chinese not crashed the market.
Well, because
Well, but that's.
Well,
No, it's true.
well, not only do they not crush
Like
America,
Packers too. you
Yeah.
know?
but the U.S. government, and it's not dependent on party, what parties in the administration, U.S. government has not necessarily made the path easy.
No, they haven't, not at all.
You know, so not only are you battling the Chinese government, sometimes it seems like you're battling the.
Well, yeah, and you're right, because for the Iranian industry, I was talking to Larry Kudlow in the Reagan administration, saying, you got tariffs on everything. How about Russian uranium? Well, we can't do that. So-
That was now that the suspension agreement's over with, and there's no more of that downgraded uranium coming in from the weapons era, that's all done, that's finished.
Yeah.
Now they can start, they suddenly get tough on them.
Yeah.
But it should have been done 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And-
Well, they finally figured out that, maybe it's good to have domestic supply of this.
Go figure.
UR just announced last week, or at least read in the paper last week, UR is going back, they're gonna go back in Shirley Basin. And they're opening up in situ mining in Shirley Basin again. UR acquired the rights from Pathfinder.
Right, and UR was a company that we stood up in this.
We stood up.
That was one of my first things as a terrific.
UEC's going back in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's,
Energy fuels
that,
also-
getting to that end and
Yeah.
making those determinations is making them, so that's the difference between when a government helps you versus a government fights you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Best government just stands out of the way, right? Helps along the way.
Well, and to your point, on uranium was wetland stuff, it was never supposed to affect the market.
Right.
But you had Boehner and you had
No.
McConnell. And they
Yes.
wanted to get elected.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, you're right, you're absolutely right, yeah.
So, very cool.
We appreciate you coming all the way.
you.
out.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
It's a bit out of the way, but we think it's worth it.
Oh, God, Mark would be crumbling on this.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.